You can do it.
Hey, Facebook world. We just tried to do this over in the Instagram world and it wasn't terribly successful. I was on a call earlier today and was laughing my tail off, and so my makeup all ran. But at any rate, lest I digress. So now we're back here in Facebook world to share with you three really powerful tips that Dr. Andrea learned from the Branding Style Guide workshop that are really relevant right now because she moved her practice, her 15-year-old practice, a year ago. And so she's in a new area, new people. And so this is really relevant if you've moved your practice, you're going to move your practice, or maybe you're new to practice. So, Andrea, welcome. Thanks for joining me.
Thanks for having me.
Uh-huh. So the very first tip, keep things organized. What did you learn during the Branding Style Guide workshop that helped about organization, and why does it matter?
Well, Mary was talking about getting all your information in a Google Drive account, or at least a cloud account, where you can have access to it, or different people can have access to it. Because as somebody who's worked on her own for a long time, or does all the marketing, I just don't ever think that other people need access to my information to get stuff done. But in this move in particular, we needed to change computers, and not being able to find different items like my logo, and being able to update it to like new colors and stuff like that. So yeah, I would have wished I'd known then that having it in the cloud would have access to anywhere I was at.
It's amazing. Well, I mean, it's being organized is awesome, but I think when you really understand it from a neurological standpoint, it makes complete sense, right? Like if we're bored, worried, stressed, concerned, or feeling trapped, we're gonna trigger the amygdala. And then all we're doing is like, do I kill it? Do I eat it? Do I make love to it? Right. And we just get frustrated and we quit. Not
Mm-hmm.
because necessarily the thing was hard, but just neurologically, we shut down. And so, yes, I'm very thankful to have extremely organized people on my team. Like, and we don't have to have all the strengths on our team, but make sure that when you're hiring a team, you hire for your weaknesses. Like
Mm-hmm.
Myra's super organized, and Mary Rose is super organized, and Samson's organized, and Chris is organized, and Barb is not. So you can tell why I had Mary Rose create the whole Branding Style Guide workbook, and actually even that that workshop, which also is a learning curve for Barb, because normally I'm like, well, I have to do it all. And I'm like, wait a minute. Like my new question now, because I think I told you I'm in the Prosper group, which is a 7-person mastermind with Mike Michalowicz and Greg Eckler for the next 5 years.
Dang.
And so when I bring something to them, they're always like, well, who on your team can do it? Instead of me doing it, like, who on your team can do it? And that's really easy then to be like, oh, you can do it. Like, you're really good at that. And it's just been really cool. Like, it frees me up to do what I'm really good at, and each one of them to do what they're really good at. So keep things organized. The second one you said was to choose colors that align with your brand and archetype. Tell me more.
Um, well, being in practice for about 15 years, I never really had a color scheme, but I always had different people in my office, and I guess it just wasn't part of what I did, or knew. So, um, coming into that seminar, I'd had some colors picked out because through Canva, like I had gotten some of that stuff done, but I mean, before that, I wouldn't have gotten any of that together. And so then it creates consistency with social media posts and the things that I'm printing in my office and website stuff. Like, I mean, I had no idea that all like needed to be the same font, the same color.
Right. And why does it matter? Like, can't we just be willy-nilly and whatever, like, blows up our skirt for the day?
Just consistency. People have an expectation of what they're going to see, and they can expect something. And so
Mhm.
having it align with what suits you, suits your practice, has a feel, you know.
Yes. And we as human like predictability, we like consistently see, right? So we like seeing the colors and like, oh, I know that brand. Oh, I know that logo. Like it already starts, we run back through our memories of I remember participating with this brand before and it gave me this great feeling, right? So now my new experience is going to be tied to that old experience, Hebb's law, right? Neurons that fire together wire together. And there's just already going to be a settling and psychological freedom that exists when there's that familiarity. So it does matter big time. And, I think that there's this idea, well, I'm not a big corporation. I'm not a Fortune 500 company. Well, guess what? That's even more reason to do these simple things because we don't have the big huge marketing budgets that the Fortune 500 companies have, right? So we're going to have to rely on the organic things like our logo and our messaging and our color scheme for that recognition because we're not going to be in every magazine, on every TV station, on every social media outlet. So it's that much more important that we have these things organized and identified. Number 3, you said, was knowing your brand's archetype simplifies marketing. What do you mean?
Well, I mean, that wasn't even something I knew until we did that seminar last week, was a archetype. Like what, I guess, personality do you have or do you portray through your business? And so mine was caregiver. And what I loved that came through with that was just like the people, the colors, the feeling, the words, like that needs to be consistent with that archetype for archetype.
So caregivers are considerate, helpful, caring, selfless, gentle, generous, and warm.
Yeah.
Therefore, we have to make sure our messaging is in alignment with that it shows consideration. It shows that we're helpful, or it shows how experiencing our brand will be helpful and caring and selfless versus a archetype like royalty, which is impressive and dignified and articulate and a leader and proud and charismatic and polished. Mm-hmm. If you use words like that with caregiver, that's not going to set well. Not that it's wrong. It just doesn't represent your brand.
But when you say that word, I have ideas of businesses I've been to and I feel that way, right? So I'm like, okay, yeah, I can go totally get behind what that's portraying. So
yeah. And it draws up a memory. Yes, exactly. So what are you most excited about for the Ultimate Marketing Bootcamp? You've been to lots of live bootcamp events, even here to my home in Alaska. What are you excited about for this trip?
Gosh, I always enjoy seeing the other boot campers. That's always just so fun. Seeing their faces. You see them all year long in the different meetings. And so I like that. I like to get to see these people again. So that's one. But also just, I don't think I've been to a marketing one yet. So this will just, help with the planning, the consistency. I think there's videos and pictures being taken. So just excited for all that.
Yeah.
I could use a little nudge in that area for sure.
Yes. And I'm really my team and I are committed that you will leave with work done. So
I love that because I've always got plans to finish things all the time.
No. And I hate coming home with a list of, all right, now I got to do all these things, right? And then I'm afraid maybe I'm not going to do them right. And so instead we're going to be right there looking over your shoulder and we'll harvest our collective genius and be able to do a really great job.
We're all going to be working together on the same thing. So love collaboration.
Yeah. Makes us feel more confident for sure. So as we wrap this up, what final words do you want to offer to someone who is with us or watches this later about, let's say, your experience? Let me think of a really great question. Let's talk about your confidence. How has your confidence changed since you've been a boot camper?
It's absolutely increased. Before that, I didn't know many other chiropractors. I had a few friends here that were local, but bouncing ideas off each other, we're all kind of limited in what we do know. And so it's been nice to then get more collaboration, I guess, if that makes any sense. Just like group meetings and talks about how we do things. And I'm not having a guest anymore. So,
Yeah. Well, and I love how you guys even showed up to support other boot campers,
mhm,
right? When they were getting their DCCJP, other boot campers in the area all came and
mhm,
supported our boot campers that were getting their DCCJP. So it really has become such a yummy family. Um,
mhm.
we have a couple of pregnancies that were just announced that we're going to be celebrating there, and all kinds of cool things. So I'm looking forward to being with you just after Thanksgiving and right before Christmas. And for those of you who aren't aware, um, I just announced it on a Facebook Live about an hour ago. We are offering a virtual option. So we just figured that out. We have a lot of international boot campers that it's just not going to work for them. And then we also have a lot of boot campers that have new babies, and they want to participate, but they weren't able to. And so for those of you who are watching, if you're not able to join us live, which is definitely the preferred way, there's something really beautiful about being in one another's presence. But you can get it virtually as well. So you'll get the pre-trainings. We've had 4 pre-UMBC trainings. You'll be able to jump right into those as soon as you register, and then be able to be with us live for the virtual option. So if you're watching this and that's of interest to you, please just hit me up with the Facebook message and I'll get you all dialed in. So, Andrea, as we leave, what final words do you want to offer to our audience?
Just go to the Ultimate Marketing Boot Camp.
Yeah, join us. We'll
Join
see you
us.
there
It'll
and
be fun.
swim
I'll be
some
there.
laps and sit in the hot tub. All right, everyone, have a great day. Andrea, thanks so much for joining me.
Thanks.
See ya. Bye.